to make a bet on air. Luca, you will go to places.
You're best known for your role at MBC Group. So how was it?
Look, you could leave MBC, but MBC will never leave you. There hasn't been one thing in media that we haven't done in those 15 years.
Did you ever at the time look back and go, oh my God, I'm actually literally helping to drive a new media phenomenon that's impacting millions of people around the region?
MBC took a stance. MBC was not neutral. What you believe in doesn't matter as long as you deliver the message of your company.
The trust that they would have had in someone like you, an outsider, let's face it, you're Lebanese.
And this is to the biggest credit of Waleed Ibrahim.
So you must have been approached a lot on the side to help influence things.
It wasn't my call.
When you're giving someone advice, and it's brilliant advice, but they don't take it, and they make a great decision against your advice, how do you feel?
If everyone loves it, it's their success. If everyone hates it, it's my problem.
Today's guest is Mazen Hayek. Mazen is one of the original thinkers in the Arab media scene, having worked at MBC Group for the best part of 14 years. He took the role of Group Director of Commercial, PR and CSR, as well as being the company's official spokesperson. Mazen, more than most, understands the power of media companies in society, and he's got a really strong grasp of the geopolitical context in the Middle East. It is therefore unsurprising that Mazen plays the role of advisor and kingmaker for prime ministers and CEOs in the region. If you want to understand who really wields the power in media and in politics, it tends to be the people in the shadows. People just like Mazen.
I'm Mazen Hayek, the official spokesman of MBC Group. It's a dynamic platform that fosters creativity and help build forward-looking frameworks to elevate Arab creativity.
السوشيال ميديا وشبكات التواصل الاجتماعي والمنصات الرقمية، كل مشاكل أولادنا بسببكم وكل مشاكل المجتمع بسببكم.
أول حافز هو الماركت كابيتاليزيشن. تاني حافز هو القدرة على التنافس بمجالات جديدة. هدول الشركات بطلوا يشتروا مساحات إعلانية.
Mazen, how you doing?
Good morning. Thank you, Luca, for having me.
It's my pleasure. Are you a morning person?
Super.
Yeah.
Woke up 5:30, 6 a.m.
Oh God, you're one of those people that wakes up at 5:30.
The 5 a.m. club.
Oh my goodness. What time do you go to bed?
Quite early, actually. If we're not out by 10:30.
That's reasonable.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what are you doing at 5 o'clock in the morning?
I start my day with a good Nespresso, then a lot of water, then a lot of readings. I have 2 hours of readings in the morning. So I read typically everything that matters to my clients.
Wow.
And typically my subscriptions
Okay.
go to mainstream, non-mainstream, anything that matters that could spot crisis early morning, that could see something developing,
Yeah.
and then share with report with my clients. Then
So you read 2 hours every morning. Are you reading on it? Are you reading on a tablet? Are you like one of those good old fashioned? You try and get a newspaper.
no. I read it on my tablet.
Okay, nice. And you have a nice cup of coffee with you when you have your
Nice
your
cup
readings?
of coffee, couple of Nespressos
Very
in the
nice.
morning.
So talk to me about your mug that you brought in today.
Min Habibi Ana, who is my love. This is my way of sharing my mornings, even when I'm working, with the people I love. It's a question. It's an open-ended, who is my love?
Yeah.
And the answer is, my love is, and then that's my daughter who's in the US, my son who is in Switzerland, my wife who is next to me or somewhere else, friends, people I miss, people I lost, friends I lost, family members. So Min Habibi Ana is my world of passion.
Like your close, like sort of close circle.
Exactly.
So who got you the mug? Was it your daughter? Or?
Actually, it's. I think my wife got them.
Okay.
From Beirut.
Okay.
From a nice Lebanese designer, and then it became. She got me the small ones for Nespresso.
Okay.
I created a sticker on for WhatsApp, so
Very
I
nice.
sometimes send to Karma, my daughter, just
Beautiful.
Min Habibi Ana, where have you been?
Beautiful.
What's up? Who is my love?
Yeah.
That's it.
Very nice. So how would your wife feel about me stealing your mug and putting it back on the cabinet?
She's happy. She's already a fan of yours. She watched you in several
Really?
doing
Aw.
a few podcasts. You're witty, smart, intelligent, interesting questions. That's what got me here, because you're You're a tough cookie.
That's very kind. Like, I'm very grateful for you to be here. Very grateful.
My
for you to be
pleasure.
here. You have two kids. You have Karma and you have Luca.
Luca.
Great name.
So you have an advantage over me.
Yeah, I love it. I'm
I have a
going to
soft
squeeze
spot.
you, Mazen.
I have
I'm going
a
to squeeze
soft
you.
spot,
You're going to give me that information that we want. So you're best known for your role at MBC Group, right? So you worked there for best part of 14 years.
Absolutely.
So
the golden age of TV.
the golden
age
which you
of
mentioned to
media.
me. Yeah. So how was it to work at a
Beautiful.
company that was at the time one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful media company in the Middle East?
Look, you could leave NBC, but NBC will never leave you. That's one. Two, the best days of my life, because there hasn't been one thing in media that we haven't done in those 15 years.
Wow.
On one hand, you had The Voice Kids, Idol, Got Talent, X Factor, Project Runway, Top Chef, you name it, global formats produced by Arabs for Arab audiences. MBC2 was the movie theater of the Arab world because all the premieres, all the blockbusters of Hollywood were on MBC2. Al Arabiya was and remains a leading news network for like-minded people. I think Al Arabiya is a political party, not for the like-minded modern Arabs. And then everything else came. Shahid. Shahid is ahead of Netflix in the region. Yeah. So we saw the creation of Shahid as a brand and as a platform. And in my role, you're thrilled to work closely with the showbiz and the industry leaders. So you do conferences with Nancy, Elisa, Elisab, Raghib Alemi, Kazem Saher. You get to talk to them. You get to
the who's who
of the showbiz industry in the Arab world. That's a blessing.
But your role was very broad. I mean, you were director on commercial, on PR, on CSR, and you were the official spokesperson.
Absolutely.
So if you think about it, if you have to deal with all of these stars and you have to deal with all these internal stakeholders, it's an extremely politically sensitive role that you have to manage. And to be the spokesperson officially, that's a big deal, Mazen.
Big deal. You can only do it if you have the trust, you have the empowerment of the C-suite and the chairman, which I had, Sheikh Waleed Ibrahim, and the CEO, Sam Barnett. So you cannot be a good spokesman, irrespective of your qualifications, if you don't have access to information, trust, and empowerment, so that you don't have friendly fires in your back.
Of course. So when it comes to, sorry to interrupt, but on the information point, so you get a lot of information. You have to make a call with, I'm guessing, Sheikh Waleed. What can you say? What can't you say?
Actually, not really. You have access to information.
Okay.
You use your brains to decide what to say and what to say.
So you decided, no one else?
You decide. We were a privately held company, so we were not a public company at the time. So as long as you're reporting on quarterly basis to Sam Barnett, the CEO, was on figures, on achievements, on the way forward, on watch outs, on risks for the coming quarter, I wouldn't think messaging unless there's something super sensitive. Then I would go to Sheikh Waleed Ibrahim. He's too senior for this, to ask, how do we handle this? How we deal with this? If it's a super political matter or Turkish drama. Turkish drama, Sheikh Waleed Ibrahim created it. I mean, dubbed in Arabic, in Syrian. And then we had a fatwa from the Grand Mufti of Saudi Arabia not to watch it in 2008. It was a sociocultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
This was super, super sensitive.
Yeah. I mean, NBC is literally, it's got its finger on the pulse of the socio-economic, political agenda going across the Middle East.
Absolutely.
And you're right at the center of that. I mean, did you ever at the time look back and go, oh my God, I'm actually literally helping to drive a new phenomenon, a new media phenomenon that's impacting millions of people around the region?
Look, you're a messenger. You're not the message yourself. If a spokesperson thinks that he or she is the center of the equation, they're doomed. They're gone. You're a bridge between the audience, stakeholders, press, and your company. Your opinion doesn't matter. What you believe in doesn't matter, as long as you deliver the message of your company. If you think that the hype and people talking to you and seeing you and your contacts are about you, you're gone. That's probably why I lasted for 14 years. Yeah. I always knew that when I would leave NBC, I'll be left with a handful of contacts, of friends from that journey. and that all their interest is about MBC, not about what Mazen Hayek thinks or Mazen Hayek believes in.
But Mazen, to do that role for so long, you need to have tremendous EQ, IQ, right? Understanding of being able to navigate through different stakeholders, different times with different pressures, whether internally or externally.
Absolutely.
And then later with government as well. So it's what was your overriding approach to trying to navigate all these different stakeholders at such a critical time in Arab media? How did you do it?
I think I was not meant initially for that job. Probably I was meant to be a diplomat.
You're supposed to be a politician.
A politician or a diplomat. Yeah. And then I started off with Publicis in 1992 in Beirut, in comms, then developed with Leo Burnett and Publicis Group, then moved to MBC. So when I got to MBC, I had the mix of politics, general knowledge.
And you knew how to talk, and you knew how to package, you knew how to sell. Yes.
And honestly, I had an amazing team, and I was working with the best talent in the industry. MBC, not only as a C-suite and the CEO and the chairman who were top and still are top, but across the board, you were working with super bright, super talented people who get things done. I mean, you should see the launch of a format. Yeah. How many people work across multi-platforms, multi-touch points, events, etc. We were a big team.
It's a monstrous company. It's huge.
Monstrous.
Before I go any further, I usually ask my guests for a safe word. If I ask a question you don't want to answer, you don't feel comfortable
Objection,
with.
Your Honor.
That's your safe word. I like that. Okay.
Objection, Your Honor.
Have you ever been to court?
I haven't. No.
Have you ever tried to prosecute someone?
I tried to get my rights. In one case, I had a car scam lost, stolen from me. Okay. But I couldn't do much. So I appointed a lawyer, but I didn't go to court myself.
So how come you never really got into politics? Or are you actually in politics all along?
I'm not at all in politics.
You're not on the outside perspective. But at MBC, it's a political weapon as well, right? So
from the comms perspective, you know, when you are in a group that has so much influence, so much reach, so much clout, you affect the power, you affect the agenda.
100%.
So we've seen heads of states, we've seen heads of governments every day in the group. You have Al Arabiya network in the building. So we've seen Petraeus from here, Mahmoud Abbas from there. I mean, heads of states, heads of government. We've had the head of state asking us about the fight between Allam and Raghib on Arab Idol the night before. Like head of state, we start. So tell me what happened last night on Idol. Is it real or fake? So, we felt how much the power of MBC was affecting people.
But Mazen, your role, because you have privilege to have access to all this information, I mean, you have a lot of secrets. Yes. A lot of stuff you cannot ever say.
Absolutely.
And you're going to take with you to the grave.
Absolutely.
There's stuff that happened at the time which you can now start maybe talking a little bit more about. But the trust that they would have had in someone like you, an outsider, let's face it, you're Lebanese.
Yeah.
You're not a Saudi.
And this is...
To give you that influence is massive.
To the biggest credit of Waleed Ibrahim, who looks at talent, not at you as a talent, and not as you as a nationality, citizenship, or religion, or whatever. A Lebanese, French, Christian spokesman of a Saudi group, that's to his advantage, to the tolerance he had, to the real belief he had and still have in talent, in your ability to deliver the job, and add to it a super tolerance and openness to LGBTQ rights. MBC had at the time,
and even now it's
senior level C-suite colleagues, and I know who I'm talking about, super welcomed, respected for what they could deliver.
Who are you talking about?
I can't name. But,
objection, Your Honor.
No, objection, Your Honor.
So MBC did have a lot of power.
Yes.
I remember. Look, I worked in a media group.
Yeah.
And during when I first arrived, 2010, and I worked there till 2023. Over that period, MBC would decide effectively which agency would win a client's business, based on the favorability of the rates, the pricing that MBC can offer. When a company has that much power to decide and become effectively a kingmaker, how does it feel?
Look, it's a double-edged sword. You become super vulnerable, but you have a lot of responsibility. If you handle well your responsibility as a leader in public opinion, in audience, you do well, and MBC did it well. The Saudi audience and the Arab audience, من المحيط إلى الخليج, so from Oman to Libya, trusted MBC to deal with any subject because they knew that MBC would not distort, would not exaggerate, would not sensationalize the story. Kalam Nawaim dealt over 500 episodes plus with, you name it, taboos. People would accept it because they knew that we're a responsible company who cares about society. We're not here to distort, to exaggerate, to destruct. So that's big. And other than that, sometimes you took the lead in the public opinion. ISIS is at the max. ISIS was a sub-brand of Al-Qaeda. MBC creates a series called Black Crows, Gharabib Sood, to show the ugly face of ISIS, who were mistreating and misusing and abusing women and children in their terrorist network. Imagine the stance that MBC took. Other than that, we showed in Haroun a Jewish nurse, Bahraini or Kuwaiti, who was healing the wounds of people in the Gulf in the 50s or the 60s.
Yeah.
So MBC took a stance. MBC was not neutral. MBC had a reform agenda, an openness agenda, a tolerance agenda, and people learned from MBC, from Oprah, from Dr. Phil, from what we were showing, more than they were used to learn from university and school.
But Mazen, from a commercial perspective, which
Yeah.
is where I was angling, it
Yes.
took me in a different area, which is okay.
That's my job.
That's your job.
For
But
helping.
my job is to bring you back. So MBC One earned the right to be able to charge what it liked to its clients because of its huge reach, right?
Yes.
And fantastic programming. But with that power, hate to coin it, does come a lot of responsibility.
Of course.
Where you are able then to decide which type of advertisers at what price will feature on your programming.
Yes.
When you have that level of responsibility and power, how do you as an individual deal with that? Because you effectively can decide.
You give them
You
the
give
best.
it to P&G, not to Unilever, for
You
example.
give them the best return on investment on their dollar spent. You give them the best cost per thousand. You give them the best ability to connect brands with consumers through media. You give them the best multitasking offering across. When we started talking about multitasking, about a consumer watching Idol or Got Talent or The Voice and being on X and watching something else simultaneously on YouTube and being on Instagram, we started playing the surround sound, and brand guardians, brand owners like media that knows the consumer.
You're very good, Mazen. You're very
that
good.
helps their brand
Very good. I like it.
connect
Yeah.
with consumers, and that's what we were offering.
Yeah.
And by the way, we had the top 50 advertisers of the region
Yes.
by far in the biggest chunk.
Because you must have been approached a lot on the side, right, to help influence things at MBC.
Of course.
How would you navigate that? Because you're in a compromised situation. People are coming from outside saying, Mazen, Habibi, can we see what we can do? Make sure we guarantee for this client, this particular sport. How do you navigate that?
Look, honestly, it was the call of the media rep, because we were working against an outsourced media rep model by which you get minimum guarantees, then you share revenue sharing model. It wasn't my call, and the negotiations were done by them.
Okay.
That was both a positive and a vulnerability, because positive, you know your revenue upfront as a media company. Vulnerability, your main source of business is not in your hands, is in the hands of a third party. But it has worked perfectly over 14, 15 years because the media rep delivered and because MBC was skyrocketing, and both the money and the audience bits were playing the.
It was a golden time for TV.
Golden
It
time.
was beautiful. It was-
Nobody could live without MBC.
Yeah.
We had political money. We had Iraq. We had, you name it. We had political campaigns. We had big shots in the office. I mean, I remember when David Petraeus came and met Sheikh Waleed Ibrahim, and he opened his laptop and showed us what's happening in Iraq. We realized that we were affecting the agenda. He wouldn't come to us.
How much did Sheikh Waleed influence you as a man today, as the person, as the thinker, as the leader?
He's an exceptional man. Human, empathetic, decent, generous, supporting. What you see is what you get. Super I would say, apolitical, religious. I mean, I never felt with Waleed Ibrahim, never, that I'm treated as a French or a Lebanese or a Christian, or never. And access, till now, you rarely send him a WhatsApp. He doesn't reply in 15 minutes after that. Amazing person. You learn a lot from him. And he's what we call in French, la force tranquille, which is the strength that is quiet. You don't need to shout when you are. And you know what is the biggest strength of Waleed Ibrahim? He was surrounded by stars. So you go to a restaurant and you have George Kardahi at the time, or Bassem Youssef, or you name it. Super secure, never felt insecure in their presence. People would come and take pictures with them and nobody knew him. He was off air, off camera, never promoted himself. Zero ego. Imagine the boss of MBC and Arabiya with zero ego, with zero agenda for him, for his personal persona, surrounded by stars, and always supportive of these stars because he created them. He knew that there's no George Kardahi without him. There's no Bassem Youssef at the time when he was with us without him, etc. And that's 200, 300 stars.
How much different would the world be if there were more people like him in leadership positions?
Oh,
I mean, when you look around now with your own lens, and you work with CEOs as advisors, you work with prime ministers, and you look around the world and you see these leaders. What's your take? Where is the world right now versus go back 20 years, the days of Nelson Mandela, for example? Right?
Oh,
how do the leadership of 2025 compare with the leaders of the past?
Look, you have two styles. You have the value-based leadership, and you have the just do it leadership. When you look at, in one sector, Elon Musk versus Bill Gates, two different styles. Elon Musk versus Tim Cook, two different styles. President Trump versus Emmanuel Macron, two different styles.
Not great styles. Whether they're different, they're not great. None of them are great, right?
You know what? Both have their audiences, both have their stakeholders, both have their grip on their respective audiences and countries. I don't think there is a formula for leadership these days. Because if you teach people that earn it to deserve it, work hard is the route, don't fake it till you make it, be value-based, play, etc. And then you have another model that says, forget all of this, deliver, show me the results. I don't care about the value system. I don't care about how you do it, just do it.
Outputs. They want outputs.
And then you see that there are people who are following the model of outputs, and they're there, and they're trillionaires and billionaires.
Yes.
So I don't think there's a formula. Leadership is about followership. So as much as that's Colin Powell said it once here in Dubai, leadership is about followership, is about your ability to inspire people, is about a team spirit, is about packaging. We learned it from Rafiq Hariri, late Prime Minister Rafiq Hariri. Is about your ability to look at the big picture, to be visionary, to say, look what the future would bring to us. Look how I'm going to package this. I'm going to package this as the next big thing in telco. But you tell me, what, Mazen, this is a mug. You drink coffee with. I tell you, yes. But my ability, what do I do for a living? I do packaging. And that's what Rafiq Hariri would do. Would turn this into the next big thing in mobile.
So you advise a lot of people now.
Yes.
Very senior level people.
Yes.
When you advise them, how much of it's coming from your own unconscious bias, right? And your own past and your experiences versus actually what's in front of you, objectively thinking? How do you differentiate? How do you know the advice you're giving is impartial?
You need your bias to come with the counter arguments to the client or the prime minister or the politician you have. You need to tell them in your face what's not good for them, where they're going wrong, where you think is going wrong, or based on a study. Once I had the privilege and pleasure to say to a prime minister in exercise, I love you but hate the things you do. So he started laughing. He said, what am I doing wrong?
Did he keep you on as a client?
I till now. Le franc-parler, look, I value trustworthiness, truth-seeking, truth-telling. And then you maneuver on flexibility, on things that are peripheral, cosmetics. But on principle, you don't temper. You're advising a client to tell them. I had another example 2 weeks ago, a friend of mine, CFO of a major company, appears on a show, couple of shows, major announcement. He sends me, so what do you think? So I reply to him with an A4 paper where he went wrong, and where are the areas that he could improve, and why there was no brand mention of that company, and why ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. He replies to me, my PR agency says, I'm great. Said that's the difference. PR agency wants to keep your retainer. I'm a consultant. I want
You're
you
a
to
realist.
do better next time.
Yeah. Who would you love to advise and work closely with? And who's the one person who desperately needs your advice?
Look, I see great potential in Mohammed bin Salman. Super smart, super witty, short attention span, a disruptor, changed a country that had 50 years of conservatism to an open market, super bullish on business, on change, I'd love to advise him.
Apparently he only sleeps 3 hours a day. That's what
I think so. And super charming in person, by the way. And
You've met him.
We've met him. Yeah.
In a social occasion.
I had the pleasure and the privilege to have met him with Sheikh Waleed Ibrahim.
What's he like?
Super smart, super witty, super quick, short attention span. If you don't make sense, he won't take. Big dreamer. He reminded me, I remember when he was talking about Neom, he reminded me of Rafiq Hariri talking about Beirut. About so you guys went snorkeling. Did you see under the water this and that and that? So that's Rafiq Hariri talking about every piece in Solidaire. Oh, you went hiking on Sanafir and Tiran and Sanafir, the two islands. Did you make sure you don't step on a mine, super leader, visionary, with the ability to micromanage and follow details.
Very nice. And who's the one person, the one leader who desperately needs your advice?
Emmanuel Macron. Emmanuel Macron these days, I used to love Emmanuel Macron as a leader who came as a centrist. He broke this dualité right-left.
Yeah.
Macron has a huge potential, amazing personality, well-cultured. He flies very well globally, but he's not
locally.
Like France.
And not only that, he's always fighting wars on behalf of his wife, the social wars.
You think so?
Yeah, he's spending a lot of time having to defend his wife. All these lawsuits that were labelled against her, that were retracted. But it's an ongoing rumbling in the background, and it doesn't help his political career if his wife is constantly the subject of question marks.
Emmanuel Macron started off with the perception that he's the president of the rich. So immediately you alienate everyone else. Yes, the rich. Look at this paradox in France. France is the global leader in luxury around the world. Global leader in luxury. Hermès, Dior, LVMH, Chanel, you name it. Yet people's relationship with money is conflictual. You feel that success is not envied, money is not envied. Maybe because the devise de la France is liberté, égalité, fraternité. So the fraternité means you and me should have the same level of income. We're brothers, so you shouldn't be more. So Macron suffered, and his second term, he won second term. He started off on political fights, on, and France is a difficult political environment, and the débat d'idées, French are intellectually savvy. They like to debate things. So values, things, etc.
I can see that with you.
Yeah.
Right, you're going to take over the show now, Mazen, okay? Inside this bag is a bunch of questions specific to you.
Okay.
Read them out loud and let's go through them one by one.
All right.
Hi, everyone. I really hope you're enjoying the episode so far. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Throughout my career, I've met a lot of people that have anxiety when it comes to public speaking. If you're someone that has that anxiety or nervousness and has always wanted to be more confident in public speaking, but you're also not sure where to go or how to start, the good news is I might be able to help. I have 20 years experience working in corporate communication. I'm a former regional CEO and I've helped to win over 80 different clients through new business pitches. With so many online trainings based on theory, I wanted to share what's helped me in the business world. I've launched my own training program called Master Pitch. The 7-module course covers everything you need to know, whether it's learning how to really understand the audience, how to deliver real impact, or how to effectively storytell. I've got it covered. With practical tips and real examples, you can immediately start turning that anxiety into confidence. Also, in a world of AI, there's never been a more important time to invest in your personal brand and in developing your public speaking. For more information, go to lucaallam.com or drop me an email at info@lucaallam.com. Right, let's get back to the episode.
So real power lies in the dark and control the ones under the lights. How true is that? Super true. Super true. Because if you're in the dark, you can influence things. The decision-making process belongs to those who are in the light. But the underlying premise that would lead to that decision lies, especially in the type of political system. In the US, think tanks, academia, the peripheral administrations are super strong in leading to the decision-making process.
Yeah.
I don't think this applies to Lebanon, where the ministers are sometimes the last to know, etc. So yes, power lies in the dark, but the final decision maker is in the hands of the leader who is taking that decision.
So when you're giving someone advice, and it's brilliant advice, but they don't take it, they're the ones in the spotlight, right?
Yes.
And they make a great decision against your advice. How do you feel? And conversely, if you give them great advice and they take it, everyone loves it, how do you feel? Because you're the one who's pulling the strings at the end of the day.
If everyone loves it, it's their success. If everyone hates it, it's my problem. I'm the one to be blamed.
Doesn't it annoy you though? You tell these people, but Mazen, you're telling people, right? You're telling them, well, do this, and you're going to be great because you have the intellect, you have the understanding, and then they go and do something completely different. Doesn't that annoy you?
Success has many allies,
yeah,
and failure has only one.
But doesn't it bother you a little bit?
And you get used to it. Look,
but you know they're making a wrong decision.
If you are in a culture of finger pointing, backstabbing, politics, toxicity, which I'm not in, by the way. I'm on life's second mountain, away from all of this. You, with your maturity, with your ability to absorb, you take things, you accept that your idea became a success and someone else took credit for it, it's fine. And on the other hand, if there's a failure and someone decides that you're behind it, you just absorb and move on. What I've learned also is that you're as good as your last achievement. You don't dwell a lot around what you've achieved. You're as good. It's like the Lebanese restaurant. You're as good as your last serving of hummus and tabbouleh.
I'm with you.
The next day, if the hummus and tabbouleh suck, you'll never go there
Beautiful.
again.
You must have said that a lot of times, right?
No, not
I love it. I'm going to use that from now.
Exactly. So
there's a question a bit deeper than that. There's a lot of talk around the deep state.
Yes.
Okay, that the people in power are not the ones really calling the shots.
It depends on the political system.
The new world order.
It depends on the political system. There's no deep state in Saudi Arabia. There's a real state in the hands of Hamad bin Salman and his entourage and there is a deep state in America because the way the American system is made,
so that's where the power is.
Yeah, I mean, part of the power is because at the end of the day, no matter how strong those around the president in a presidential system, Donald Trump calls the shots. This style of leadership.
Does he call the shots? If someone has got a lot of evidence against him and can destroy him in a minute, is he really calling the shots if he no longer has his own free decision making?
I mean, he's affected. Remember, this is, again, the nature of the political system leads you to the percentages and the weights between the deep state and the real state, between the dark and the light. You need advanced political systems to have a strong deep state where you're anchored in the administration, in academia, in think tanks, in research and development, the power of pharma, the power of gun lobby, that's America. So we don't have this established.
Thankfully, we don't have this.
Thankfully, we don't have this in the Arab world. We have. I love the Emirati model. I mean, look at this, at the nation building. Look what the Emirates have done.
Inclusivity,
vision.
long-term
Dubai.
vision.
Absolutely.
But they benefit because of the way in which the country is set up from a political perspective. They don't have to deal with presidential campaigns every 4 or 5 years.
Absolutely.
They can employ long-term visions and they can see them through.
Yes, I mean, you're right. The biggest merit for the Emiratis is that they have accepted to be the smallest minority in their country. The Emiratis represent 10% of the population of the
incredible humility,
super humility,
hospitality as well,
tolerance,
and
the ability to accept 90% of non-Emiratis who live and feel like the UAE is their home.
Look, it's a beautiful model. I remember, the famously John Paul II said Lebanon was a sort of a message to the world because of all the different religions living under.
Absolutely.
I would reframe that now in 2025, even from 2020 onwards, that the UAE is the message to the world about how the world should run, how people should coexist together.
And because we're talking about the UAE, if you allow me a word on Dubai, this city that we love and admire every day was made strong leadership, visionary leadership of Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, amazing leadership team. So visionary leadership team deliver across laissez-faire model, state church separation, state mosque separation, no corruption, no red tape, efficiency, top-notch infrastructure, amazement, the wow effect of Dubai, all around hospitality, and I would call it quality of life, standard of living, man.
You're missing
Dubai.
one thing.
Tolerance.
And one other thing. Because
Tolerance.
you've got one more finger missing. I'm going to give you that finger. No legacy to hold them down.
No legacy to hold it
Clean
down.
slate.
It's beautiful.
Clean slate.
Superb. And those who would tell me Dubai is fake, I said, please, you've lost me. No, Dubai is not fake. Dubai is super real. Dubai delivers. The first thing you do when you land in Dubai, you line, rule of law. I forgot to mention rule of law, my 10th. Rule of law.
11th now.
Man,
I gave you a 10th.
11th. A rule of law. You stand in line. You're coming from Russia or Ukraine, you stand in line. You're coming from Lebanon or Syria, you stand in line. You're coming from Tel Aviv or Palestine, you stay in line. Rule of law.
Yeah, I like that.
That's beautiful for Dubai.
Let's do another question.
Yeah. Is the ChatGPT reliance the one challenge that even the smartest advisors cannot overcome? Till now, till this morning, I've managed to find a place for humans to add value. So I'm joking with a friend who is a former colleague of yours this morning. I'm saying that because he tells me I get my global business update and global news update in the morning from ChatGPT. So I make sure every day to send him 2-3 articles or insights. And I ask, were these included in your ChatGPT review? Most of the times he says no. So I said, thank God, humans still play a role. Look, I had a crisis once. A client, pharma, calls me and says, I need you now in 23rd of December, pre-Christmas. I said, what's the story? He said 1, 2, 3, 4. And ChatGPT tells me 1, 2, 3, 4. I said, wait, you don't have a crisis. You're in pharma. You've lost the representation of a major brand globally. But you don't have a prosecutor on your back. You don't have a food poisoning or someone who was killed because or died because of your medicines. These are your typical crises. Relax, enjoy Christmas. I'll see you first week of January. This is what ChatGPT didn't tell you.
Yeah.
He was like, what do you mean?
It's that context.
Man,
understanding the human context.
Exactly. Use your brains. Yeah. I mean, it's like the GPS in your car. Don't close your eyes and put the
my wife is the GPS in my car. She tells me where to go. Exactly. Do you use it yourself to advise?
A lot. To advise, not, but to see what's happening. I asked ChatGPT that I'm coming to talk to Luca Allam. What do we do?
Help.
And it said a friend actually did a profile analysis of me, and then he asked ChatGPT, what should Mazen Hayek do with Luca Allam? And ChatGPT said, that's his profile. These are his vulnerabilities and weaknesses. Make sure he doesn't dwell much about MBC, but rather on his role as a consultant advisor and the forward aspect of future of media, Arab media, etc.
I'm with you. So going back to the question about ChatGPT, I had someone called John Sane on the show.
Yeah.
In season 3. He's a futurist.
Okay.
Top 5 futurists in the world. And he said there are 3 professions that are going to go out and done in the next 18 to 24 months. Okay, he said accountants are done. He said lawyers are done, and consultants are done. Why? Because the AI relies on data, information, and it can make decision making quicker, faster, better than anybody else out there. So these three professions are under a lot of scrutiny. As an advisor now in your role, as someone who gives counsel, how do you feel when someone like that basically says your job may become obsolete because of ChatGPT?
One,
other AI.
Video didn't kill the radio star. So, I mean, look at. I'm not gonna name
Radio numbers are.
but I mean, I'm not gonna name them. They're the DJs, the Luca, Allam equivalent are growing. They're not on radio, but they're on a similar sort of a different audio, video. One, two. I think if you have enough natural intelligence, not artificial, you would always stand a chance to have a job or to do something in life. And two, if you're willing to do the extra mile, to work harder than the laziness that ChatGPT and AI gets you into.
So let's imagine Luca, your son Luca now, okay?
Yes.
Luca's 21, 20?
Luca is 20.
Okay, so he's going to graduate, inshallah, soon university.
In hospitality.
And then he comes and tells you, Dad, I want to become a consultant. I want to advise other people. For argument's sake, what would you tell him, knowing what you know now about the industry and about the way in which people are using AI?
I would tell him, one, go at the intersection of tech, hospitality, and consultancy. Don't be a consultant, don't be a hotel manager, don't be a restaurant manager. Be at the intersection of Airbnb, of Booking.com, of Luxio TV. Be in an industry that would speak the language of the future for you not to become irrelevant.
But a role like yourself, you wouldn't advise him to get into?
It's too late for this. I mean, my role is like stockbrokers when we were growing up and the 80s and 80s.
Cool.
It was so
suits,
cool.
The big
suits, the golden boys of even ad people. I mean, Madison Avenue. I mean, it was a dream to join an ad agency.
I'm a bit too young for that.
I think everyone hypes up the AI effect on jobs, but we forget that stockbrokers were the hot commodity of our generation. Ad land, I mean, Madison Avenue, and you remember the Satchis. It was a dream to join an ad agency. Would you let Luca or your children join a traditional advertising agency today? No way.
So I left the industry because I no longer believed in it. I was no longer passionate about it because I wasn't seeing great creative thinking, no great campaigns anymore. Everything was copy paste. Everything was tactical. It's very, very performance driven. There was no magic. There's no, and the thing is with people, with humans, what makes us special is the ability to create.
Exactly.
Right? Not to echo, not to replicate. It's to create. When you lose creativity in an industry, for me, I'm no longer interested.
I hear you, and passion is very important. But you know what? There are comms groups, global comms groups, at least at the top, the number one, the number two, and number three, have cracked the formula. They've merged the best of data, creativity, business, digital transformation, and all other comms and disciplines. So they cracked the formula.
But their market cap is only going in one direction. Why? Because they are commoditized still. They're still seen as a service, and things can always get cheaper. You can always go faster. You can always outsource to someone else for a much discounted price to deliver. That's the challenge that they have, even within those industries.
But I admire companies like MBC Group, who reinvented itself, who bought Sapient, who bought recently Chain Reaction in the Middle East, who bought other companies, Epsilon and others, who bought a data company. Look at the merger now between Omnicom and IPG. Huge potential in synergies.
They wouldn't call it merger.
Acquisition, whatever. I mean, so there are things happening at the top. The dreamy days of Leo Burnett in Chicago having an apple reaching for the stars and creativity for creativity and going to Cannes twice a year for awards is gone. It's still there, but it's a cosmetic because of the audience fragmentation and because of the disruption in the way people receive the message. You used to do that TVC to put it on TV to reach your audience. Today, you need 50 tools to reach the same audience. So your consumer has changed. The brand has changed.
When you say the consumer has changed, fundamentally, the consumers haven't changed. How they use media has changed.
Yes.
But what are people still looking for? Right? They're looking for to be connected to be engaged, to be stimulated. You can't tell a story. You can't build an emotional connection with a brand on Instagram on a feed. You can't do it.
Yeah.
So what's happened is that this obsession with metrics, measuring, right, being able to account for every single dirham or dollar being spent, to go back into the loop to understand, okay, this is what we spent, this is what we got out, this ROI.
I'm with you.
And digital, unfortunately, killed the media industry.
Look,
It killed it. It lost its magic because of it. And I was digital. I was a digital guy when I started.
I can't agree more with you simply because I lived the
Let's have handshake.
The glory days. The glory days.
Bring back MBC power. TV only.
Luca, I lived the glory days. Of the
I know, I get it.
Marlboro Cowboy, the Marlboro Man.
Beautiful day.
McDonald's, Kellogg's, Toyota, the Wicked campaign, Lexus creation
Mercedes
as brand,
some great stuff.
Lexus, the relentless pursuit of perfection, BMW, the ultimate driving machine. We used to fantasize about these brands. We used to love the creative process. I hear the frustration in you. But the jubilation now comes from a different
It's only because my frustration is because if my son, I have two boys, if Matthew and Ollie said to me in the future they want to get into advertising, now I wouldn't want them to get into advertising. But if you asked me 10 years ago, yes, because the industry was vibrant, it was dynamic, it was creative at its core.
Mind you, there might be a fatigue from AI in those areas.
Inshallah.
Okay, sir. So
let's go.
What is the bigger blocker for effective leadership, cognitive bias and ego, or misinformation?
What's the bigger blocker for good leadership? So unconscious bias and ego, or misinformation?
Look, all of the above. One leaders surround themselves with yes sir people who give them the good story. Your big question, if you're sitting with Mohammed bin Salman or with the big guy, you would say, how do you get the negative stories? How do you get the real picture? But you're surrounded by people who think of their jobs first, of their entitlements first, how they want to make to please you, to stay relevant and stay closer to you so that others stay away from you. At the end of the day, you need the real ones. You need the truth seekers. You need the truth tellers. You need the credible people who would tell you, watch out, this is wrong. No, you can't do this. No, this will lead you to that. And I think misinformation, disinformation, distortion of that environment are serious. Now we're seeing deep fakes, serious in the power spheres and in media.
So I'm going to push you. Which is a bigger blocker for effective leadership? Having the ego and the subconscious bias, or having the poor information, misinformation, disinformation?
Both, but
I know.
I mean, the ego is a killer because it'll get you to areas where you don't want to. Then you start, self-destructive.
Outside of Trump and Macron, we've just talked about, which leaders out there do you think have such a huge ego they need to be taken down a notch, and effectively given a bit of a slap?
I mean, definitely Vladimir Putin is one of them. It's too big of an ego, but grounded. He doesn't give you, he's super smart, doesn't give you the impression that he's self-centered. He's so in control of his game. He's a former KGB officer, so he knows his game. So he's in power, former intelligence officer, super in control, but the ego, you feel from the way he looks, the way he moves.
How he holds a handshake. You see how he pulls people in and how he stands.
And you know what? Obviously, Bibi Netanyahu, big time. These guys speak the language that they only understand. Look at the love between Bibi Netanyahu and Trump, between Trump and Vladimir Putin. They hey Vlad, how are you? Hey Donny, how are you? How have you been? They interact differently than you can't see the same. So Vladimir Putin is super.
And compare that to the UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer. I mean, it's like,
look,
there's nothing there. At least with Trump, you have an identity.
Exactly.
Putin has an identity. Macron has an identity.
I'd rather have a Trump, a Putin, a Bibi Netanyahu,
some backbone.
Show me what you think.
Just something.
Show me what you do, rather than a mediocre politician who made it up there because everyone was fighting.
It's a vacuum. It's absence of real government, real leadership, and you end up having people. No one wants a job because it doesn't pay very well. Honestly, in politics now, if you ask a 21-year-old, would you like to dedicate yourself to public service and helping the country move forward? No, I'd rather launch an AI company and make millions by the time I'm 25.
I have to bridge this to a peripheral area. You ask me about the leader. Ask me about the top spokesman who you think is doing well. I mean, I'm a spokesman. Who do I mean, Jen Psaki was amazing at the White House. Super smart, super grounded, super clever, interesting communication. Jen is now at the NBC or CNBC. Look at Afikhai Adrai. He's selling the IDF spokesman to Arab audiences. He's selling the unsellable to a super hostile audience, and he's getting away with it cleverly, smartly, across all platforms. I know the Arab audience will hate me saying this, but guys, think of it. Think of me appointing you to be the spokesperson of a hostile audience primarily. How would you do? Credible, trusted, he delivers, witty. He makes fun of those making fun of him every day. So he takes a pro-Hezbollah partisan who makes fun of him, takes his video and makes fun of him. This is a super difficult job. متحدث باسم جيش الدفاع الإسرائيلي باللغة العربية. The IDF spokesperson for Arabs. Go sell this. Who is the wiser? The one who always asks for advice, or the one that doesn't need it?
So who is the wiser?
We're all learning them. I don't have a perfect formula. I keep myself up to date to be able to advise. Look, I admire top people, decision makers, prime ministers, you name it, CEOs, who ask for advice because they know that they don't have it all. They're running companies, they're successful. But I have to tell you one thing. I'm surrounded by super successful, utterly unhappy CEOs. Every day, there is life outside 10-20% EBITDA. There is life outside those metrics of your company. And that's where the consultant comes in. Career consultant, consultant, self-learning consultant. They need people around them to think out of the box, you know. But there is life outside your 10-20% EBITDA and your corporate greed. There is life out of it. So relax. There is life out of your daily prime ministership job. Come have a sandwich and let a journalist take a picture of you having a sandwich in Malik al-Batata. Rafiq al-Hariri did it. Rafiq al-Hariri did it in Malik al-Batata in Beirut. He went down to a street food. He was the billionaire coming with yes we can, dream big sort of. He went down without comms consultants. Use your human instinct as a leader. Don't turn it.
Some people have that. Intrinsically, they have it. Some don't. I know a lot of leaders who would much rather let others be the spokesperson, be the face, while they sort of operate more in the shadows, versus others who they got to that position because they're great with people.
Yes.
People's champion. So again, effective leadership can be done in different ways depending on the context of what's required at that time from that leader.
Exactly. Look at the campaign of Trump, the candidate. The truck with McDonald's, the selling, the truck, the garbage truck, the strong images, appealing to his audience, speaking the language of the people, resonating with the youth.
That's the best speakers do that. The best speakers, typically, if me and you are having a conversation, we can go in depth, very detailed. If I'm talking to 100 people, my narrative, my rhetoric, my language has to be simpler.
Absolutely.
So the best orators simplify. They simplify the words, they simplify the message. Make America great again.
Simple.
Or Barack Obama's even simpler. Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
These are the things, again, so it's about understanding.
Of hope.
Yeah. It's about how to manipulate large audiences through emotional speaking, passionate speaking, but through language. So when I asked you the question now about asking for advice, I know a lot of people, when they get to a certain position, they feel, oh, I'm the CEO. I shouldn't be asking my friends, colleagues for advice. I should have all the answers. And then there's other people who are actually, no, I don't know that much.
Absolutely.
So these are the people I respect more, right? So where do you stand on that?
A friend, billionaire, what has changed in your life? I mean, pre and post becoming a billionaire. He said nothing. First of all, I started wearing my Swatch again because everyone was looking at whether I'm wearing an Audemars Piguet or a Patek Philippe. So I went back to my Swatch. so that I'm sitting with people concentrating with me, not with what I have. And second, the way people perceive us has changed, not the way we became. We're the same. You know us at home, you know the value system we have. Nothing has changed in our lives. We have more means, but then don't become a victim of your success. Don't become a victim of money. Don't become obsessed with material stuff. Yes, you're a billionaire, but I want to have a walk with you in Paris for 15 minutes to talk about something else, irrespective of me being a billionaire or not. And I love this.
Yeah.
I mean, I love this in people, when he's a billionaire, he doesn't need even to spend 15 minutes with me. He would spend because maybe I get a sparkle in those 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I get him something. I give him
He
different
enjoys your company.
enjoys your company.
Simple as that.
He needs
People are just
people without interest.
Mazen, people are just people at the end of the day. And we forget that. And we look them up and we see them in their glass houses and we idolize them. But the reality is they are probably miserable. Like you said, all the CEOs are miserable, right? Most of the time. Yeah. Because they've lost that being able to connect with others. And it can be very isolated. Look, when I'm in a different league because I was quite a young CEO when I first made it, and I was managing people. And the first year of being a CEO, I thought I had to have all the answers. Everyone's looking at me.
Yeah.
What I wear, what I dress, what I say. I felt like I'm in a glass box. By my third year, I felt so much more comfortable in my own skin that I was like, you know what? I know I'm doing okay. I can ask for advice. I can ask here and there. And I felt so much more relaxed.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, I was working on myself inside. And that's where a lot of leaders, unfortunately, struggle. They always look outside to help other people, to manage, but doing the work inside. And this is where people either turn away or they lean in, because there is a lot of therapy that's required in order to you to fulfill who you are always meant to be. And people don't do that.
Luca, you're absolutely right. And what makes a big difference, pre-success, is your value system, your education, and your faith, your ability to believe in something that is stronger than the day-to-day, and God, whichever religion you belong to, that would ground you when success comes. If you don't have a value system, if you don't have a good education, if you don't have faith, you will crack under pressure. You will be very vulnerable. You will be predictable, so irritatable. As a leader, you can't be predictable, irritatable, jump on any, like a springboard. You have to be a sponge. So those whom I've seen succeeding and continuing with success are those who had those pre-success.
Yeah.
Faith, value system, education, family, things. I used to say to myself, MBC should represent in my life, in my career, 40 or 50%. Because when I lose MBC or I get ejected same day, or someone doesn't like what I said and said, who is this guy? Get him out. You need to rely on a support system that has nothing to do with work.
Look, I struggled with when I left, when I was no longer a CEO, and I became an entrepreneur, whatever that means, a podcaster. I do a lot of public speaking coaching.
Yes.
It's going very well, by the way.
Yeah.
I struggle with that. What are you without the title? And that's something, I did an episode all about it. But when you start doing the work inside, and I did a lot of theta healing, which looks at your limiting beliefs in your subconscious to remove all that stuff that's sort of blocking you from who you are always meant to be.
Exactly.
Done that work, and now I don't care about the title. I care less about it. I do care a little bit of it, but I care less about it. And it doesn't trigger me as much. That's what I mean about doing the work. If the CEOs do the work inside and remove those limiting beliefs, rewire their subconscious, they become so much. When I sit in this chair, I feel full. Whereas before, I'd feel a little bit...
Luca, we are brands. We are human brands. Yeah. We have emotional, rational attributes and titles. Okay? So if you lose a title, you're not spokesman of a media group. You're not the CEO of a telco company. You're left with your emotional attributes and rational attributes and the value system and everything else.
Yeah.
So and as long as when you had the title, you knew, I'm going to say it in Arabic, لو دامت لغيرك لما آلت إليك. Had it lasted for others, it would have not reached you. That's a plaque on the Serai in Beirut, where Rafiq Hariri rebuilt the Grand Serai, where the prime ministership is. لو دامت لغيرك لما آلت إليك. Had it lasted for others, you wouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
When you have that title of CEO or whatever, Remember that one day you're not going to have it.
Yep.
The most important is to be able to add value, to see your value in the future, to forecast things coming, to see your role beyond the title that you have. Otherwise, you're doomed. Everyone who loses a job panics.
Should we do it? We've got 2 more balls. Let's power through.
Listen to your own mind and speak authentically, or listen to others, counsel, and speak balanced. Look, this is follow your heart. This is follow your heart, or
Speak your mind.
follow your brains.
Or listen to other people's advice.
Look, sometimes you have to follow your hunch, say it the way it is. But when you have too much at stake, saying it the way it is in your face has a price. There's too much at stake. When you're a billionaire, when you're a prime minister, you believe in things, you cannot say them. You know things, you cannot say them. I mean, it's easy for you and me to say things the way they are in your face. Well, that's what I believe. Okay, fine, nobody cares. But then, and that's why, this era of new generation of people who give you advice on life, on haircut, on everything, unleashed. They speak all day on videos. There's nothing to lose. They don't have a job. They don't have savings. They don't whatever. They have nothing to lose. When you have things to lose, you start using counsel and brains and maturity and wisdom and absorb. And look at you and say, I know that you know that I know, but I'm not going to say it. Sleep on it.
Yeah.
What's
the smartest piece of advice you've been given?
A lot by many people.
What was the first thing that really comes to your mind when I ask that question? Because there's always typically one thing that will always come up top.
Look, maintain the trustworthiness. I like to be perceived as someone whom you can trust with information, with access, with discussions, with secrets, with things that that they're not going to come out. You tell me one thing, it's with me. I learned it from Nasib Lahoud in Lebanon. You can talk about things. In public, you formulate them differently, but you keep the core with you. So, I mean, trustworthiness is super, super important. I'm keen on preserving this.
It goes like this.
Yes.
It takes a long time to get.
You lose it and you can't recuperate it back. Truth seeking and truth telling. Luca, I've lost many friends assassinated as journalists. My dad was a journalist, so I navigated all the time in the world of journalism and media. I've lost very close friends, other than Prime Minister Rafiq Hariri, assassinated. They paid the price for their views, for their stance, for their position.
But they stood for something.
They
weren't trying to hide.
Exactly.
What annoys me is everyone copy-pastes everything.
It's boring. Samir Kassir paid the price for being...
But they're original thinkers. They're trying to change the world. You don't change the world by copying what someone else said 5 years ago or 2 years ago. Who are you? What do you stand for?
The celebration of Robert Betender. He was the former Mitterrand...
I love how you say that, Robert Betender.
The former
Great name.
justice ministers of François Mitterrand in 1981.
Yeah.
Who abolished the capital punishment in France. And he worked hard to no death penalty.
Yes.
So justice is not revenge. You have transformative people in public life who take decisions, who shape the lives of millions around the world.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about France, by the way. The influence of France in human rights, in liberties, in justice is far bigger than the power of the country in money terms or political. It has
weight. It has weight.
It has gravitas.
Yeah, it has
a country that you watched yesterday the Robert Betender getting into the Panthéon where the Eternals rest in peace.
Yes.
And you look at this, and this is since the 1789 revolution, the French Revolution, human rights, liberties, personal liberties, and public liberties, justice. What are humans without all of this?
Amjad, Mazen, last ball.
Yalla. Media houses influence beyond entertainment. They nationalize political agendas, debate.
So media companies are beyond entertainment. They sort of are able to nationalize and become political weapons.
Look, no, it's too much saying. Nationalize is a big word. Political weapons is a big word. They shape the public opinion. They set agendas. They push leaders.
That's politics. That's politics, Mazen.
Yeah, but political weapons, I mean, Look, I have a diplomat.
It's literally television, tell-a-vision. It's a way into someone's house to be able to distort, to change, to influence.
Look,
that's politics.
my daily challenge. I have a U.S. diplomat, very close friend, who always tells me, look, Arab media is subsidized, polarized, and weaponized. And I always sit with him and try and tell him to go across this triangle of, wait, there is some subsidy, but there are companies that make revenues. Look at MBC, look at BN, look at etc. Polarized, yes, Arabiya, Jazeera, we lived it in news, but watch out, the audience has been fragmented. The audience is not there. There is the disruption, etc. The proliferation of platforms. Then weaponized. Yes, the political weapon. Yes, some of the owners of the media use it in their wars against each others. But
I mean, look at Lebanon. Every politician had a channel.
The audience is not there anymore. Mainstream media think they still own the game. They don't. Wait, Habibi. Digital media is 75% of ad spent on digital media goes to 5 companies: Alphabet, Meta, TikTok, Snap, Amazon, and the rest, and Apple. That's it in MENA. The global ad spend in the world is $1 trillion. MENA represents 1% of it, $10 to $12 billion, out of which 9 go to digital media. What's left for mainstream? What's left for mainstream media? Peanuts. So, I mean, how much we used to have power. I mean, yes, MBC Arabiya, Jazeera, BN used to have strong power. Do they still have the same? No. Have they developed? Yes. Shahid is competing, is ahead of Netflix. That's big for the Arab world.
So what does the future of the Arab media scene look like?
AI adoption, in newsroom, out of the newsroom. Remember, you need to produce the content that people want to consume. You are there to entertain, to inform, to edutain, to create the surround sound effect around the consumer. And basically what you're fighting for is the most precious commodity in our life, which is?
Attention.
Time. You wake up, you have 24 hours. Give me 6 hours of them.
But it's your attention, because you can give you the time, but you still won't be attentive.
Span is part of time. Time is the most precious commodity in our life. Interest rate is measured against time. Love, whatever, everything. So media companies in the Arab world, content, tech adoption, get me the private sector in there. If you look at the picture, most of the media companies in our region are either controlled or subsidized or partially owned or by governments or what we call the state capitalism.
And that's why I love
sovereign funds.
And that's why I love podcasting so much.
Exactly. Get the private sector in.
It's a different type of approach to consumer.
Get the entrepreneurship in.
Yeah.
And give me the new product development that I see around the world. And give me the freedom to look at K-pop demon on the Korean folklore most watched movie on Netflix ever.
Yep.
Korean folklore. Look at Love Island. Look at people want bright star. Look at Barbie. Look at F1, the film, how it was a test case in marketing, how they promoted Tim Cook, Lewis Hamilton, Apple, etc. No, but look at the power of 360.
I'm with you.
I want Arab media to act the way Apple acted on F1 movie.
Yeah, it's all integrated. It's a great point. Do you know how much, what percentage of spend goes into podcasting from advertisers?
In the Arab world, probably 0.1%.
It's exactly 0.1%.
0.1%.
Do you know how appalling that is? How appalling it is? Where, do you know what? There's three countries that are the highest listenership of adult males and females in the world. 3 of the countries. Outside of the US, Saudi is number 1, UAE is number 2.
But
isn't that crazy?
But it's crazy, and it will come because candidate Donald Trump went to Joe Rogan when he wanted to talk to the youth. It's starting to pick up in the Arab world.
Inshallah.
So those 9 billion go to digital, 2 billion go to outdoor, or 2.5. What's left for mainstream? TV is small in the Arab world revenue, and then you put the category of others where podcasts fall. Monetization of media is key. Revenues are key. Business models And my dear, reinvention is survival. It's not optional anymore for Arab media. Reinvention is survival.
I'm going to give you the last ball. There's no question on it.
I told you there's a surprise.
There is, right. So I want you to share with me, over your time at MBC Group, your time working as advisor consultant, your life experience, what is the one insight that's unique to you?
It's just do it. Just say it, but with respect. Don't be unleashed. Use your ability to be spontaneous and courageous and in your face, while preserving values, while preserving secrecy and information, yet speaking your mind. Don't flatten the proposition. I hate flattened proposition. I hate mediocrity, but don't be an unleashed cannon, loose cannon, where you can't be.
It's a great insight.
Yeah,
it's a great insight. Maz, it's been great having you on the show.
It's done already.
We could talk for hours about different topics, but Amjad, it's been great having you on. You're very, very insightful.
I need to make a bet on air.
Okay, make the bet.
Luca, you will go to places. I've seen less bright or even as bright podcasters in the US and around the world. Maybe the Middle East will follow. They don't have your skill set, who made it big time. The big question for us is how a Luca Allam, without having to go to mainstream media, will make it big time. Monetization, revenues, big media company. You're gonna become a big media company. The way Tucker Carlson did when he got out of Fox News. So I predict. So one day you remember me when you'll go there. I predict a Luca Allam network, LAN, like Tucker, like Joe Rogan. There the market helps, the scalability helps, the abundance of funding, private and helps. I'm sure you will get to places. So I wanted to do
very
a bet,
kind, Mazen.
to do a bet on you.
That's very kind.
It's bet. It's not kindness.
Okay.
It's a business bet. I'm
bet.
ready to put my bets on it.
Maybe off camera we'll talk numbers.
Okay.
It's been great having you on, guys. If you've liked watching this episode or listened to it, please drop a like, drop a comment, drop a share. Do what you do best, and I'll see you very, very soon on Luca's Inside Track.